Remember the time when you wanted more. Remember the time when there were people in your life that did not believe in you. Remember the time when you honestly gave up on the possibilities of the uniqueness that you had inside. Remember there was a time that you complained so much, but yet did so little. There comes to a point in your life that you must recognize that there's a little bit more that has to be done than just complaining about it. You have to realize that you don't have any other opportunities waiting for you.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon. And we here on 910 Sports. Once again, first and foremost, I got to thank God for this opportunity. Because without God, this would not be possible for her to have this voice and to be able to have my great co-host and great guest on here. But before so we got somebody that's coming in for us. But before we get to that, I'm going to introduce my peoples. You know what I'm saying? So for everybody out there, we got the great man of God, a great ambassador of the sport. We got my man, Coach Goins. You know,
Amen.
for the first time on our show, you know what I'm saying, our new co-host, and me and my man, we super excited about the opportunity to be able to work with this man. You know what I'm saying? How you doing, Goins?
Well, you know what? I first of all, just giving honor to our Lord and Savior, and just when you guys reached out, Icon and Jacob the Great, I was very humble that you guys reached out and just asked me to come alongside, and we're gonna make this thing pop. And we're excited. So you know what? Like I always say, lace, make sure your sneakers on tight, and you got them laced up as tight as you can have them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I got my man that's been with me rocking and rolling for 6 years. It don't even seem like it's been that long, but we've been doing this thing almost 6 years. You know what I'm saying? Dak Prescott biggest fan, the Cowboy biggest fan. Hey, this man Justin Fields biggest fan. I told him when it all said and done, he gonna have his own agency called "I'll Ride with You to the Wheels Fall Off" agency. You know what I'm saying? But I got my man Jacob the Great in the building. What's going on, fam?
And blessed by the best, man. Glad in the land of the living, brother. Another day, another choice, and absolutely another right.
All right, all
Wow.
right. So I'm gonna let you introduce this young lady, and for us to get this thing started. Now, before we get started, how we pronounce your name, Tamia?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, Jacob. Go ahead and introduce her, and then we go ahead and get this interview started.
Oh man, it gives me great honor and great pleasure to introduce Miss South Carolina basketball, none other than Tamia Watkins. What's going on?
Hey,
How are you?
doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Man, so been watching you for a few years. Following your huddle and your max preps and all the write-ups that's been going on about you on news stations and stuff like that. You quite the athlete, not just in basketball, but in other sports too. So, tell us a little bit about your journey as far as, leading up to this point.
Yeah, ever since I was a little girl, I would say like, I don't want to play basketball. I ain't playing no basketball. I want to be a gymnast. And I had two older brothers, Tanaz and Dunn, and I would watch them. I would be like, man, that was fun. I think I might want to try it. And then just started playing rec ball ever since I was in second grade. And I was like, I think I'm gonna stick with it because I always used to be flexible. I wanted to be a cheerleader, but I think this is my destiny. And then when I got in the middle school and I started playing AU, I got with Team Curry and all these offers and you know people looking at me. It just made me like I had a fire to keep going. And then, God played a big big thing in my life because you can only well, you're not supposed to have an idol. I'm sorry, no, you're supposed to keep God first. So that's a big thing. And as an athlete, you always have something you run into that makes you want to give up, or it was the thing that kept me going, wanting to give up because it came at a time where them offers and people looking at you it felt like it stopped. Nothing was going for myself. Like, man, I I just had this fire. I was just going. I felt like, I was on top of the world when you have these power fives looking at you and just go away. I was like, dang, like it made me feel down, seeing everybody else win. And it just felt like the journey just stopped. So then got to a point where I picked up my Bible and I put God first. I can't tell them, I don't care. I know I'm good. And whoever, get me, whoever, put their trust in me to have me as a player on the team, they're going to see the young woman I can be in the future. So, my mom and dad, they will be working, I'm their daughter, their only daughter at that. And they want the best for me. And I would having conversations with my mom and dad, and I'd be like, you know what, I don't care because God knows what's best for me, and He gonna put me at the right position. He know what I can handle and what I can't handle. So I might not be at Power Five or where other people may want me to be. I can do my thing at where I'm going. So, when I got in that mindset, it just, it kept me up and helped me keep going forward in life. So when I got to the 11th grade AAU season, I didn't play as much. Elon University, Coach Charlotte Smith, they threw me the offer, and I went to go visit them after my senior season, and I like this girl, Charlotte Smith. She's a woman of God, and she she's just like all the way around. Kept it straightforward, she kept it campus is amazing. I want to be a because one day basketball gonna stop bouncing. A lot of athletes they have they don't have a backup. They just stay in basketball for a different everywhere. No, it's about what you do on off the court. Off the court, you gotta do your work for one thing. You can't be out here running around in the streets. You can have fun, you have friends, but my dad always told me it's a narrow walk to success, especially if you're a Christian athlete. It's a narrow road. You can't be on the other side of the road if you want to be great. So I just, as an athlete and a student athlete, you gotta, keep your grades right, stay focused, get the proper rest, get the proper, keep your body right. It's about what you do off the court that's gonna help you succeed on the court. And I'm sorry, my mama just watched this bullshit. And yeah, so as an athlete, it's about what you do on the off the court. And see me, I also work with kids over the summer. And I remember this little girl, she just had a seizure the other day and she ended up in the hospital.
Mm.
And it was like when she, was able to talk and stuff, she asked, who do you want to call? And she was like, Tamia. And I never knew this until my coach told me. And he pulled me to the side. He was like, when you think you're not doing something or people, little kids not looking up to you, you don't think what you do is working. And then it's actually working. So that put another, boost to my fire. Because, I got little kids looking up to me. Because I worked with this little girl over the summer. She used to cry. She used to didn't want nobody to touch her. Don't want nobody to work with her. So when she said my name, it was like, wow. Because I used to try to like, Journey, get in the water. Journey, you want a snack? Journey, you want this and that? She's like, no, no, I want my nana. So it's just about doing things on and off the court. Yes, you want to be good. Yes, you want to work on your game. But what else do you have to your name? Because you need something to boost your name. You fighting against politics. You fighting against a lot of things in the basketball field. You don't need to do more than just basketball. So that was kind of my journey. And now, committed to Iran. I leave June 15th to start working out. So, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And what's so what's so wonderful about you to me is the way you reference God, the way you know you have to keep God first in order to be successful. And a lot of people your age don't understand that, and you understand it early on. And so with that being said, I'm gonna just say keep going, and I'm gonna pass the mic to my brother Icon E, so he can definitely ask what he want to ask.
Well, I'm gonna let Coach Goins go first, and then I come behind him.
All right.
Okay,
So,
now.
so again, it's just it's a privilege to have you on, Miss Watkins. So here's my question: as a former high school basketball coach myself, I'm gonna put you on the spot. If the game was on the line and you had the pill in your hand, what is your go-to move? Tell everybody what you would do and to get that bucket to be successful.
Um, hmm. Okay, how many seconds I got on, on the clock?
I give you 12 because we just called a timeout and we run and we drew up the play and you gonna get and of course the ball's gonna be in your hand. What you gonna do with it?
Mm. See, okay, I'm looking at from all the way around. So boom, come out of timeout. We're probably gonna be either he probably gonna call the timeout where we be the ball be at the half court line. So he
Yeah,
throw the
well, yeah.
ball, you go throw it into the point guard. I'm I'm gonna go straight down there to the paint. I'm gonna go straight down to the paint. They gonna call it strong. They gonna go strong because they gonna clear it out. Those 12 seconds, so going fast, boom. Don't even have to do too much because it's like an overload. They got three people on the other side. So throw it into me. I'm gonna do one little bounce, little shimmy, turn around and just shoot it.
All right, all right. I like that shimmy right there. So with that, I'll kick it over to the one and only Icon E.
Okay, so my question is, and me and Coach Goins were talking before we came on that you scored 3,000 points as a milestone, and that's a lot of points in high school. You know what I mean? That's almost like when you hear about the greats like an NBA, like a LeBron or whoever going getting 30 or 40,000 points. So in high school, so what did you do to prepare yourself to be such a great scorer in high school? How many shots did you take up every day and when you just like alone in the gym or whatever the case may be?
Okay. Well, see, I've been playing varsity basketball for a long time. Long. And 7th, 8th grade year, I was good, but I wasn't as good as I was when I got to high school. We ran into COVID, so they kind of
Mm.
messed a little bit. Um, I used to shoot, but I wasn't very confident with my shot at a young age. So I just focused on, layups and putbacks and stuff. Then as I got older, me and my dad would go outside in the yard and we would shoot. We would shoot some shots and he'll have me go side to side and he had me shoot threes. And he did a lot of shots in the yard before I would go to the gym. I would go to the gym sometimes, but majority of the stuff came from outside.
We lose it for a second.
Yeah, we lost it for a second. Yeah,
Well, yeah,
but
well,
like you said, I covered 3,000 points is a lot of points, man. To score in high school.
Man,
yeah,
I, I,
yeah.
I don't I don't think I can score 3,000 in my closet by myself. I mean,
Okay, there
that's
you go.
there she go.
Yeah.
Wow. So let me ask you this. So being that you sound like a ultimate competitor type. So who was the player that you played during your time in high school that pushed you like a rival player? Like, Magic had Bird and and Jordan had like an Isaiah or whoever it was.
Good
Who
question.
was or who was that person that pushed you in high school to be great?
Ooh. Um. um. Who pushed me? Ooh. If I'm being honest, at high school, for the girls, it really wasn't nobody to push me. And now let me say this: when we got to 12th grade year, my 12th grade year, now we ran into some competition, but we didn't play. We only played on one time. So South Point was a game that I had to, you know, play good. I had to because they wanted to win. We wanted to win, and it was like we're not a rivalry, but say if they was in our region, it would be like a rivalry. So South Point, that was a game I had to play good. Ashland Ridge was a game that pushed me. When we played Heathwood, um, that was a game. And we went to Atlanta, Georgia. We had to play a team in Atlanta, Georgia. They have a Michigan commit. That was a game. That was a game for y'all. Tell y'all. So them 4 games, it really pushed me because I had to work really hard. Really, really hard.
Okay, before I shoot it back to Jacob, I got one other question to ask you. So, because I think a lot of people don't ask a player this. When you have a bad game, like like one of them
Mm.
games, like whatever reason you can't make a shot. You know what I'm saying? What is your mindset? What do you do to prepare to yourself? Because they say at most great players never have 2 bad games in a row. So what is your mindset? What do you do to prepare yourself to make up for that bad game?
You know, you can't hang your head really. You're gonna get chewed out. You're gonna get chewed out by your parents. But to be honest, what's not working at that time, you gotta find something else to make happen. So if your shot's not falling or you're not doing good on offense, you know, you gotta do good on defense. Hustle, try to get the ball, make something happen within the game. Because the bad game, you could be off on something and do good in something else. I feel like it's kind of impossible to have a terrible game all the way around. It depends on how your mentality is. Because some people will really hang their head low because something not going good on offense because they think everything is about scoring and they're hanging their head low. So then they'll start dragging because my shot's not falling. But it's all about everything. Your defense, rebounding, boxing out, diving on the ball to get the diving on the floor to get the ball. And if your offense going, then creating a shot, get your teammates involved. But to prepare for a better game, you just next game going to the next game. Don't worry about what you did last game. That's behind you. You can't fix, can't change it. It's in the past. You got to go into the game. This game is my game. I'm about to say, because if you come in there with a bad mentality, like I'm scared because no last game, then you already shot yourself in the foot. So you got to come into the game thinking, okay, I'm gonna do good. I'm gonna show people what I can do. And then when you come in there with a good mentality, then you bound to have a good game. But if you come in there hesitating, then you gonna play scared because your mind, even though you might be a good player physically, your mind, is in a different mindset. So however you think is however you gonna play. My dad always taught me. If you think you're gonna do bad, you're gonna play bad. I don't care how good you is. If you think you gonna play bad, then you're gonna do bad. That's why he will always put that Kobe. He was like, you gotta have Kobe mentality. He will send me videos of Kobe mentality because I used to always overthink. So when I got out there in front of the coaches, I would be overthinking. He'd be like, you can't overthink. You just gotta play. Because if you think it, you're gonna do it. So that's all you gotta really do is just go into the game thinking, knowing, not thinking, knowing.
Okay. Go ahead, Jacob.
Now, he asked you who kept you sharp with your skills. I can probably tell you who kept you sharp with your skills. You know, anytime you got older brothers, especially a brother who play overseas basketball, then when you're doing something wrong, he gonna sharpen you up. Am I right?
Yeah. Um. but- Yeah. My brothers helped me a lot, but who actually started helping me was my dad, and then I started
You did.
training because my dad he played basketball, and he played baseball, he played football. My both of my parents were athletes, but my dad, he was at a young age. He would take me out there, and we would do layups. He would throw the ball at the backboard, just go get it. And yeah, he did a lot of stuff with me when I was young. Then my older brother, he would train me sometimes here and there. Even when I got older, he would train me here and there. But if I'm being honest, I got most of my moves from my dad. The
That's
shimmies,
what's up.
all that stuff, I really got it from my dad.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. So, are you are you more of a perimeter player, or are you a player that like to go to the hole and drive the ball to the basket?
I think I'm more of a perimeter player, like, or I'm gonna say I'm more of a down here player. I like to dribble, get into my shot, dribble, get to the hole. I feel like I'm more versatile. I'd rather like have the ball in my hand and get to the hole or pull up. But, yeah.
Right, right. So how would you say your ball handling skills are?
Um, they could be better, but they're good enough right now. But I feel like they should be a little bit better going into college level. Not really more in my left hand, but more of a little bit more in my right hand. I do have a right hand, but it's just about getting the confidence.
Mm.
Okay, okay. Okay. And so you had not only a lot of points, but you had a lot of rebounds, a lot of assists, and a lot of steals. So when you have over 3,000 points and 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 you're rebounding, got assists and got steals, so you was a threat. And so how did you work through the double teams?
I was already playing, knowing that teams was going to double team me. I came into the game knowing that. Um, it really sometimes it might be frustrating because certain teams knowing that you good and knowing that you about to get yours, they'll try to do certain stuff, try to hurt you or knock you off your balance. That's probably the only thing I was worried about. But other than that, you know, the ball go up. If they trying to stop me for scoring, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get it off the glass. I'll go in there, get it off the glass, and put it back up. That's what majority of like my rebounds came from, especially with the region we play, and my team's gonna be throwing up shots. I'd be like, you know what, if I can't get it from shooting or just backing somebody up and put it up on the board, I'm gonna go get out the rebound. So I push one of them out the way. And majority of the time, I'm taller than all the girls in the paint, so I just snatch the ball from 'em and just go back up. Really.
Mm.
Now,
Mm.
play,
Okay, okay, okay.
they tried to, double team, but it was really like a box in one. The girl was just on me the entire time, trying to, get me out my game. She would even, she was on offense, and she was me playing defense on me on offense. Like, it was something like that. But, it's really, when that occurs, and the double teams, again, it's a mental thing. They trying to knock you off your game. You really just have to figure a way to get around it.
Okay,
However,
okay, okay,
I just feel
okay. So um, double A All State player, double A Player of the Year, Miss South Carolina basketball. So you have a lot of accomplishments and you work hard to get those accomplishments. So is there any time where you was overwhelmed that you had no idea that you would be awarded those things, or was the season going that good that you know that you would probably win?
No, I still was worried that, I wanted to get Gatorade Player of the Year. That was my main thing, focus on. I was worried about, athletes. 'Cause you still fighting people from other areas.
Okay, okay. And so did playing AAU basketball really help sharpen up your skills?
It did.
Okay. And I'm asking one more question. So with you sharpening up your skills and honestly knowing that you worked on your jumper, that you worked on your post play in the paint, and working on, some people are naturally strong and can jump, but a lot of players don't know how to box out. It's really a technique to boxing out. You know what I mean? How you place your feet, how you move your body, and understanding what your wingspan is too. So did AAU help you with all that as well?
It did.
Okay,
Playing
okay, good.
playing against older girls. I've been playing up about my whole life, so it really
Mm.
built.
Okay, that's what's up. Coach Goins?
All right, so listen, I know a lot of times, Ms. Watkins, most teams always end their season losing a game. You're in a situation, you won your last game, which was your state championship, as Jacob the Great just mentioned. So, if you don't mind, take our listening audience into that moment. The horn goes off. You look at the clock at zeros. Y'all are state champions. Just talk about that and just how did that feel at that very moment?
It felt good, I was just thinking, I was just looking like, dang, like this is my last game. I on a high school jersey no more. I felt calm, but I was thinking at the same time, like, but I was just enjoying the moment because it's the senior game. We won it. We had a manager that passed away, so we dedicated the season to her, and we
Oh
had a
wow,
and we was like, did it for you. We did it, and then we just got on a bus and listened to music, have fun going back.
wow. All right. So here's another. I noticed that you always wear number 24. Now, where did that come from? Is that your dad's former number? Maybe your brother's former number? How'd you come up with rocking 24? And are you gonna be able to wear that at Elon?
Yes, I will be able to wear that inline. 12 was my number because I wanted to copy my brother, and I was like, I gotta find my own number. And then had went to 23. I was rocking 23, but then I ended up getting 24 I think when I played Team Curry, and I kind of just stuck with it. I just kind of stuck with 24 since then. And it just kind of became me.
Mm, excellent, excellent. All right, I'll kick it over to
It
the
sound
one and
like
only.
Mhm. Yeah, you know what? That's kind of crazy. I wish you would have kind of kept 12 though, because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I don't know no player that really wears the number 12. Yeah,
That's a good call.
that's a different number to wear. But I mean, you chose what you chose. I ain't mad at you, but you the first player I ever actually heard. I'm sitting here thinking over the history of basketball. I've never heard nobody wear the number 12. Whatever. But so anyway, so me and Coach Goins was talking about this before we came on, and so Elon is that's Division 2, right?
Vision 1.
Division 1. Okay. Is it any? Did you have any kind of, not to get too much in your business, but did you have any kind of NIL talks, at all, before you chose to go there?
We had our conversation. We talked about it a little bit. We did.
Okay. Because I think, well, Coach Goins, I think. Elon is in the same the conference as is it UNC Greensboro?
Um, yeah, I think it's UNCW. I think they do
UNCW.
Greensboro too.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I know they flip flopped so many well, so many schools now are in, and like the I know UNCW used to be in the CAA, but they kind of dismantled that one, and I'm not 100% sure. So I don't want to saw that limb off under that. But I know Elon is it'll be competitive, and I hope when you because I'm in Virginia, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to print that schedule off, and if you come anywhere near me, I'm going to walk up in there and see that number 24 going to the rack.
Sir,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
what's up.
basically,
That's what's
what
up.
is your first year at Elon? What's your goal? What's your goals that you have for yourself individually for your first year?
Great question.
to go in and be the best, make something happen, make something special happen.
Okay, so going in, what is it looking like for for the team? Is it upper class team? Is it a lot of freshmen and underclassmen coming in? So what is the team going in with for what you know going in for that first season?
We have a few that came in from the transfer portal. I want to say like three. Uh, so far I know two freshmen coming in, me and another girl, and we got a few sophomores. It's I feel like it's more of a young team than an older team. Look like we probably be together for at least maybe 2 years.
Okay. Okay. So what do you feel about personally you and your family? What do y'all feel about this whole what we I call it the wild wild west of the NIL and the transfer portal? What's your thought going in as you entered this world of all of this?
Um, transfer portal is going crazy right now. To be honest, looking at it, if you just go in and if I go in and do what I gotta do, I feel like I'm okay. I'm not worried. I'm worried about you can't control what you can only control what you control. So it's like I'm not worried about anything but me.
Okay, okay. So I'm gonna shoot ask you one more question. I'm shooting back to the fellas. What is your major? So when things is all when it's all said and done, like you say, you can't play basketball forever. What is your life, your outside of basketball life look like?
I'm working to get into the nursing program because I want to be an anesthesiologist nurse.
You want to be a what?
Anesthesiologist nurse.
Oh, okay,
Hmm.
okay, okay. Oh yeah, that's a great profession to get into. Oh, okay, yeah, definitely. I wish you all the best in that, or whatever. But anyway, Jacob, you can take it back over. That was my last question for now.
So I got a hypothetically speaking question for everybody on this panel. So I called Icon last week. I said, Icon, 1,100 girls in collegiate basketball have hit the transfer portal,
Wow.
and I said 3,300 boys collegiate basketball have hit the transfer portal. And I asked Icon, I said, and some of them have already transferred 2, 3 times. Because I get the newsletter all the time. Once a week, I get an NIL newsletter. And I kind of tell you, I'm always talking about the portal, the transfer portal in NIL. And now, when you have 1,100 girls transferred and 3,300 boys that transferred, and some of them have already transferred twice, almost 3 times. So, do you guys think that a person should only be able to transfer just one time, or no?
Wow. All right. I'm sorry. Is that for the floor? Can I jump in on that?
Yeah, it is for the floor.
Okay. So yeah, here's my thing. I think number one, it's not the player's fault. This has been created. And again, just in my opinion, it should be they need to move toward a contract. So if Icon jumps out and says, "Hey, I'm going to commit to play at Jacob University," all right, so we're going to sign you for 2 years. because now if you don't want after 2 years you can go. And other than that, you're gonna give me 2 years. After that, now in the past, and I'll go back, I'm dating myself. When you transferred back in the day, you had to sit out a year. You
Mhm.
just didn't go in and just now. I think about a local kid. He opened up his drawer. He's got a shirt from Carolina. He's got a shirt from Virginia Tech. Now he's at Vanderbilt. He's just like, dude. I mean, you don't even know how to come to practice. You don't even know what gear to wear because you don't change schools 3 or 4 times. But in that, my opinion, I'll end with this: is it should be a 2 year contract, and then you're there for 2 years, and after 2 years, you can transfer.
Okay. So
Now
Tamia, what's your thoughts
let's
on it?
hold it right there for me, Icon.
What,
Uh,
what's up?
I think I think they should just let them transfer if that's what they want to do. I mean, I feel like if you transfer too many times, kind of you might be digging a little bit, dig a hole for yourself a little bit. But you know, if they made a mistake, and I feel like a lot of college players, um, when picking school, they if they have like a Power Five school, I feel like they want to go there because it's Power Five, and they end up not playing and not liking what they're doing, so they go into the transfer portal. I feel like that happens to a lot of people, just going somewhere thinking, oh, it's big, it's this and that, and not really thinking about where I could go to play. And I feel like that mistakes. I feel like if they want to go to the church,
Well, you sound like for yourself, you got a great a great support system with your mother and your father. But a lot of players don't realize, and I don't even know if you know this, Coach Goins, but we had a academy guy on here maybe about a year or so ago, and he was telling us that what the biggest misconception about the transfer portal is that a lot of the players don't find a school. You know what I'm
Bingo,
saying? Because
bingo.
a lot of because the big dog, the 5-star players, they transferring so quick and they able to find the school they wanted their choice real fast, and then the slots will fill up so fast. Like Jacob said, you got 1,100 players transferring on the women's side, 33 on the men. You know what I mean? It ain't that many school, ain't that many slots left. Because you know what I
Yeah,
mean, especially for the players that actually stay at the school. You know what I mean, and come back that next year. It's only 15 slots per team. So where you gonna find all these slots? You know what I mean? Whatever. So I would just say, whatever you decide to do in the future, if you stay at E-Line 3, 4 years, or if you decide to move on, just I'm pretty sure your mom and dad will do their homework to make sure you make the best decision for yourself and your family, or whatever the case may be. In that regard. I just want to say that, but I agree 100% with you, Coach Goins, on the 2 year contract, unless you go into the NBA after the first year. You know what
right.
I mean?
Right.
So,
And then pay and I'll add that, and then instead of all this NIL, you pay them on you pay them on their performance. And if they had a
hmm
good year, I mean, everybody gets a base. And if you go out and you say, hey, and just like Miss Watkins, if she's out there and she's dropping 25 or 30, then that needs to be rewarded. But I can't go out here and I'm making $4 and $5 and $6 million, and I ain't even touched the floor yet. I mean, and that's what's fueling it, because if I'm gonna play with Icon E and he's gonna give me 500,000, and Jacob the Great University comes and say, hey, I'll pay you a 1.2 million. Where do you think I'm gonna go?
hmm
I'm going to go where I can make money. Because think about most of these guys can make more money in college than they can the ones that can't play in the NBA.
yeah, you're right. You're right. NFL too, because that rookie
That's right.
contract, NFL ain't that big. So a
No,
lot of them
no,
play. That's why you see a lot, especially the quarterbacks. You see them stay 3, 4 years now. You know what I mean? Some of them 25 years old now by the time they get to the NFL
that's
because they
right.
keep making all that money.
That's
You know,
right.
yeah.
That's right. That money's in the hip pocket, and I get there, and it's just like now, and you turn back around and just like not throwing Shadu out here tonight, but you look at the money he made in Colorado.
hmm
And imagine if he would have been there 2 or 3, and if he would have been there all 4 years. I mean, that guy, it's just a pile of money. And I don't blame the kid. I mean, I can tell my guys, I was like, hey, if they're gonna pay me if they're gonna pay me millions of dollars, I'm going. And if you want me, I'm going to get it.
Yep. Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. But in Miss Watkins' defense, this is what I'm going to say about high school athletes: 4-star, 5-star high school athletes. That's amazing. Because I know guys that rushed for 4,000 in high school, and couldn't go to a power five school because of the transfer portal. So he, if it wasn't the transfer portal, he would have ended up at Alabama or Clemson or Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
he said, man, I didn't have nothing in Georgia State offered me, you know, 2 weeks before the deadline. But he
Yep.
said
Yeah.
what happens to the transfer portal is, if you know anything about high school going to college, they used to have a amount of scholarships set aside. They used to have in between 13 and 22 scholarships that they would give out to high school students coming into college. And now they only give out 4 to 6. That's a big drop off from all these schools across the country.
That's a good call.
Until right, and until now, when it comes to the NIL deal, since more kids are starting to go JUCO, I just had an agent to call me on yesterday from Kansas City, Missouri, Miss Kimberly Young. She said, Jacob, you deal with JUCO. You're recruited for JUCO. She said, do you think that it would be a time where JUCO players get a small NIL deal? I said, what you call small? She said, 15, 20, 30,000, 35, 50 at the most. I said, it can be. I said, but somebody has to administer that and make it a reality for JUCO collegiate athletes. And she said, we'll be talking about Wednesday, Thursday. I want to
Yeah.
pick your brain a little bit. So
Well,
I think
well, I got.
that
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
I,
I
I
got
said,
one more question I wanted to ask Tamia before we got off of here, because I
uh,
wanted to ask you this, to Ms. Watkins, because you had a very successful high school career, and you end up going to the E line, and let me just tell you this, the background of the show. So we started this show 910 Sports because a lot of athletes, when they come from smaller schools, smaller towns, they don't get looks all over the country like they should, and they great players. And then sometimes you might not have a great high school coach that pushes your name out there to the bigger schools. So did you come across any of that because of where you're at? Or was it just you just feel like, just where you're supposed to be? I mean, as far as like, I know I know you at the school you want to be at, but was it any roadblocks that I'm saying, or anything that you can like point at to say this is maybe the reason why in the future we need to do better at, to make sure that people, that other athletes that behind me that come from my area get a better opportunity.
That's great.
I'm pleased to feel.
Hey, 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 I
That's a
respect it.
good
I
call.
respect it.
I understand. I understand.
We respect it. We respect it. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? You got to, yeah. What they say? What's not said don't got to be talked about. What's understood don't got to be talked about. So we get it. We get it. You know what I'm saying? But hey, look, listen. I want to thank you for coming on. I want to
Yes.
thank your mom for letting you come on. You got a great head on your shoulder. When you came on from the go and started talking about God from the point of this interview, the top of this interview, I knew you was a great young lady, whatever. And you even referenced politics. And I know most kids your age ain't talking about no politics. You know what I mean? Because I know when I was 17, that was far from my mind,
Amen.
anything political. You know what I mean? So I thank you for being who you are. And we just wish you all the best. And like we said, we got this platform for people like yourself. And like I know Coach going a man of his word, he loved the game. So I guarantee you, if he see Elon anywhere close to Virginia, he going to that game. You
Yes,
know what I'm
sir.
saying? So and hopefully maybe you can get down here to Georgia or South Carolina, and me and Jacob can catch a game or two. You know what I mean, here and there. But we wish you
Yeah,
all the
yeah, no
best.
doubt, no doubt.
Is there any social media, anything that you want to shout out before we get off of here?
Uh, my Instagram and Twitter is Tamia Watkins _ and that's about it. Thank you for having me.
Okay. No problem. Anytime. You have a blessed and wonderful weekend. And, we see you at the top, and we just going to keep following your career all the way to the WNBA.
That's right. Congratulations.
All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations to
You're
you.
welcome. All right. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
You too.